Hello, my name is Alexis Terzato with Nu-Calgon, and I'm here to present to you today two products, which is the iWave-R and the Gallo Gun Canon product line, drain opener. So first we're going to start with the Gallo Gun line. The Gallo Gun line is a CO2 drain opener that's ideal for any contractor to have in his toolbox and go into clear the drain on any residential or commercial application when there's a PVC pipe that's up to 3/4 inch, right? So the Gallo Gun comes like this in this packaging, and it brings a 20-gram cartridge, and it brings a up to 3/4 inch cone like you're seeing here, and this flexible hose that's hard to kink, and a robust body and steel power head and trigger. Right? So what's cool about the Gallo Gun Canon is that Gallo Gun line is that it works with a 20 or a 16-gram cartridge. So the two cartridges sizes that are out there will fit by just reversing the bottom here, right? So now we came out with the Gallo Gun Canon accessory that's sold separately that you see here, and it has a different tip on it that's like this compared to the one that comes in the box, which is like that, right? So if you were to come into a drain line with this, if you look in there closely, you'll see you have some issues sealing it nicely to control the pressure of the CO2 to make sure it goes down where the drain is clogged. Where in the case of the Canon drops down in there and inflates and makes sure that all the pressure goes towards the actual clog. I'm going to demonstrate here. If you can look closely there. You see how that inflated? It made a nice seal, and it's going to make sure, even if it's full of water, that the pressure is going to go towards the clog and clear out that drain. Available today at all your Tropic Supply stores. So next we're going to talk about the iWave-R. And what is iWave-R? And most companies have seen this in stock, here at Tropic Supply. And the iWave-R is a bipolar ionization product that goes installed inside an air conditioner, in the ductwork, inside the blower housing, or anywhere that you can have the air flowing in between these two posts, which we'll call those emitters. Those are emitters that are emitting positive and negative ionization. And it's a balanced positive and negative ionization, which is what makes the iWave product line so successful, because it's able to really be effective by being balanced. Because out in the marketplace, historically, bipolar ionization has been around for a long time. What's new is these mechanisms that are balanced and that they are affordable, because they've always been historically very expensive, only found in hospitals, airports, casinos, in places like that. And iWave was the first to bring this into the wholesale market, where contractors now can have an affordable way to install that inside a residence or a business, or in any other place for that matter, that they can use the different voltages that this has. We have 24 volt, 120 or 240 volt in this one product. And let's talk more about the emitters and what they're doing. As the air is flowing in between these two posts, these little carbon fiber type tips are touching the air and releasing a positive and a negative charge into the air. So over time, that's building up surrounding particulates. It's also surrounding pathogens, possible mold spores that are out in the space, and other volatile organic compounds, and it makes them stick to each other. And it also robs the protein of the living organisms or the microorganisms, and enables them inactive by essentially it kills them while it's going through the process. So in the air conditioning filter, you have space where the air flows through. Let's say here's a small hole in an air conditioning filter, air is going through there, and in that air there could be a lot of the particles that are getting stuck in your respiratory system. either your upper respiratory system, your middle, or the lower. And some places have a lot more than others, right? So when you ionize the air, that's going to be able to catch that, where in the past, with whatever kind of fancy system that you put, there wasn't a way to reduce those small particles. Now we can. So we get a lot of results from doing this, which reduce those particles from 40, 60, 80, 90% after a couple of days or after a couple of weeks of that being installed in a system, right? So the iWave-R also has what we call self-cleaning, and that's a big thing that makes this so special. And what is it cleaning? It's cleaning those carbon fiber emitter points. You see these little tips here. If they were to not have self-cleaning, over time, throughout the years and months or whatnot, particles and dust could settle on them, and it could reduce that output. And this is creating the perfect amount of ionization for a space up to 2,400 square feet with this model. So if we were to lose some of that ionization output, we would lose our performance. By having this self-cleaning mechanism on here, it's going to, all on its own, go over the emitters like that. It's going to release any particles that would have settled there. So it can maintain that output and have the same performance as when it was new years down the road, right? So you always want to make sure you get self-cleaning if that's one of the mechanisms that you can use. We have some other models that are not self-cleaning, that are made for mini splits or P-tacks and products like that. But we always like the long-term performance on this, because once you install this, it could be there working for 5, 6, 8, 10 years or more without having any maintenance. So we talked about particles, we talked about the respiratory system. One of the things in my personal experience is that I have found many people that are drinking allergy or asthma medications, and when they install this in their home, they feel like they don't need those medicines anymore. And throughout the years, I've heard many cases of that happening, and their doctors wanting to find out, what they took, because the doctors will prescribe medications, and the problem really is the particulates that are in the space that we're breathing at home, as we are, just living and sleeping at night. So many people have always come back and, told me the results of this. And one of my favorites is something I experienced myself, is waking up in the morning more refreshed, because you weren't all night long breathing all those particles, right? So, and the contractors that have the electronic instruments to test ionization and particulates, those always report to me great success in iWave reducing the particulates 60, 80, 90%, right? So you don't really have to do any maintenance. There's no UVC bulbs or anything that you have to replace with this, right? So it's set it, forget it, and come back. When you do any installation or any maintenance on the AC, you can check it. So a lot of the technicians that I run into when I do events that install iWaves, they come up to me and say, hey, I've been installing iWaves, for years now. How do I check if it's still working? When I go there and I tell them, well, the first thing you really want to do is check that the light's on, right? That's one thing. Another way is actually, if you just hover your hand around this area, you'll feel the air moving, because those emitters that are pushing out air are moving the air, and you can feel it, right? Don't ground yourself on it, don't push down. I mean, it's nothing's going to happen, but that's something that you could do from right here. You'll feel that air. And also a non-contact electrical tester like this is going to sense those emitters even this far away, because this whole area here has an ionization field, right? It's not just right there next to the emitters. It's all out here. So as the air is flowing in there, all that ionization goes out and treats the space. So those are some of the ways you can test that it is working. And you can also test the self-cleaning mechanism by pressing the test button that's there and see that it is doing that, right? So what we have here in the bottom is a little box which is a smoke chamber. And what we do is we demonstrate what it does with smoke. Smoke is a particulate. So we're going to get those particulates to stick together and fall out of the air like any particle that will go through the ionization field. So I'm going to fill this with smoke. Right now the iWave is off. Now I'm going to turn it on and watch as the smoke disappears. So it's not just making the particles disappear or fall to the ground. It also works with the lingering smell of smoke, because particles work their way traveling with odors. So odors can hitch a ride with all the particles that are in the space. So it's effective not just in removing the smoke itself, but the lingering odors of smoke, right? So see how it cleared up? That's just a concentrated demonstration of what it does in the smoke chamber. So look for the iWave-R at Tropic Supply. Look for the iWave-C and the other models that we have available now. And you can reach out to Nu-Calgon or myself or some of the other account managers for more information on trying them out. Thank you.